It's your man Dave, New York, coming to you live from West 57th Street in Manhattan. We out here just doing some radio promo, interviews. Shout out to, it's Northeast, right? Yeah. Not New England.
Yep.
Okay, I just want to make sure. NortheastHipHop.com, new members of the family. We doing big things out here. Like I said, we did some radio promo. Shout out to Sway. Shout out to K-Slay. We're going to be in the lab tonight and then back to L.A. tomorrow and back to the grind. I was born in Queens. I was raised in Queens. The last 5 years I lived in New York. I spent in Co-op City in the Bronx. And that's when hip-hop was like, the takeover was really about to happen. Like, not just like Busy Bee, Love Bug, Starsky. That's when like Treacherous 3, Cold Crush Brothers, Grandmaster Caz, like all the pioneers of hip hop just took over, like invaded my mind, and I've been a b-boy ever since. Breakdancing, graffiti. I couldn't spit for shit. I'm not gonna lie. I got into DJing a little bit, just wasn't my thing. My name actually came from two people. Rosie Hopkins, who I worked with. She just called me New York. But when Biggie came out to L.A. for the Life After Death, he rented some whips from me. And one of the whips, they had the heat on in the SUVs on the ceiling. They have the air conditioning and heat controls. They had the back on heat, not AC. And they couldn't figure out why it was nice and cold in the front, but it was hot as fuck in the back. And Biggie called my office and asked for me, like. And they were like, which Dave? Because there was three of us. And he was like, the dude from New York Dave. I just flipped it to Dave New York. I think it sounds better as a last name, but I won't ever change my name. Rest in peace, Biggie. You got to understand, like, being in the car rental business, like, when I first got into the car rental business, I was like, who the fuck rents cars? You know what I mean? Like, but, you know, my son was born, and I needed the gig and whatever, and then the actual dude that hired me, that gave me the chance to, because I had just gotten out of jail, and everywhere I went for a job, they were like just making up lame excuses and why they wouldn't hire me. And this dude Mike gave me the opportunity. And when him and his brother-in-law sold their franchise, he went to Budget Beverly Hills. Like maybe 2 days after they left and the new company took over, I called him, and he didn't even say what was I asking me, like what was I calling for or anything like that. He just basically said 9815 Wilshire Boulevard, I'll see you in an hour. So I went down to Budget Beverly Hills, and you know, when MCs would come into my office, nobody understood what the fuck they were saying, and they would be like, oh, you need Dave. And like, you know, if I was on a delivery, they'd wait for me to get back, or if it was my day off, they would call me. And they'll be like, one of your clients is here. And I'm like, why is he one of my clients? Is it because he's black and he has an iced out chain? And they'd be like, we don't understand a fucking word this man is saying. So yeah, he's one of yours. Like, and I'd get on the phone and I'd be like, yo, what's good? And they're like, yo, I'm not the boss. I'm not trying to floss. I just need a whip to dip. And I'm like, what's your budget? And then they would tell me, and I'm like, all right, put him back on the phone, put whoever back on the phone. Do we have this? Yeah, put him in that. And they're like, how do you understand that shit? You know what I mean? And, you know, and then it was like, yo, let me get your cell number so I can deal with you directly. And then it just started evolving from there. Black Thought and Questlove came into my office. Everywhere they went, they were having a hard time renting a car because, you know, early, mid-90s, a lot of us really weren't on the credit card shit yet. And Black Thought had a license but no credit card. He paid for everything in cash. Questlove, he didn't drive at the time, but he had a credit card. So everywhere they went, nobody would rent to him because the license and credit card have to be in the same name. And when they came into my office, I was like, aren't you Black Thought and Questlove of the Roots? And Black Thought was like, oh, he's a fan. Started chopping it up, whatever. They explained to me what was going on. And I was like, look, legally, I can't do it. And they bugged out. Well, Questlove didn't bug out. Black Thought bugged out. And I was like, look, you know, I got a baby at the crib. I need this job. Like, just don't do me dirty, basically, you know what I mean? And I rented him a car and came back a few days later, paid the bill in cash, so there was no disputing the charges on the credit card and none of that dumb shit. And Black Thought, right in front of the owner of the company, looked at me and was like, whether you work here, there, whatever, we fuck with you and only you. And everybody we fuck with is going to fuck with you. And next you know it, I was getting phone calls from Common and, Kweli and Erykah Badu, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, for real? This is really you? Like, but yeah, that's how the ball started getting, started rolling. And then, like I said, I was telling you guys earlier, Loud Records, Noah Ochi, I got to shout her out because if it wasn't for her, 90% of Loud Records wouldn't have fucked with me. She came into the office looking for a large SUV to pick up the guys from Wu-Tang, and my boss said no. And when he left, I called her and said yes. And I'm not going to lie, it was only because she was hot. Like, I'm sure she's still hot. I just haven't seen her in forever. So, but she was hot as hell back in the day. So I was like, yeah, girl, come on, get it, Like, and then next you know, she hit me up and she was like, Jizzle needs to get a car. Raekwon needs to get a couple cars. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, come on. I'll stay late, no problem. So they came to the office and I put them all in whips. God, I miss Loud Records. That was such a dope label. That's how I know members of the Wu-Tang Clan. I've been renting the Jizza for forever. Like, I know the whole family. He knows my son, Raekwon, as well. You know what I mean? Like, Ghost, Meth, like, this whole family, you know what I mean? And it's been a blessing. 3-6 Mafia, Mobb Deep, who else was up there? Exhibit. And then, of course, I had Raucous Records, Interscope, Urban. Not everybody. I only dealt with the urban department. I didn't want to fuck with anybody else. This is what I'm a hip-hop head. And I hate that label, urban, but it is what it is. I've been so blessed. I mean, I've rented from everybody. Tupac, Biggie, Big Pun. I'll tell you a funny story about Big Pun. Big Pun pulls up to my office in a limousine, got his family with him. Rest in peace, Pun. And he's like, Dave, I want to rent this Mercedes. And he points at a Mercedes SLK 230. Now, for those of y'all that don't know what an SLK 230 is, it's like the size of my shoe. Now, Big Pun was called Big for a reason. So I'm standing there looking at Pun thinking, like, how the fuck do I tell him he's not going to fit in this car? So finally, I'm like, hey, Pun, we're boys, right? And he was like, yeah, Dave, you my dude. That's why I fuck with you. And I was like, look, man, they didn't make this car for dudes like us. You know what I'm saying? Like, they made this car for, like, midgets and shit. And he was like, for us? Man, I couldn't get a leg in this motherfucker, man. This for my moms, yo. Like, I was like, Pun, you scared the fuck out of me, man. You said you wanted to rent it. And I'm standing here going, how the fuck? And Pun was cracking up. His mom got out of the limo, like, what the hell is so funny? He was like, this dumb motherfucker thought I wanted to drive this shit. And she was like, Dave, how the fuck is he going to drive that car? Like, it was hilarious. The Lexus that Kanye rented when he crashed on Wilshire Boulevard came from me. But this was before Kanye was Kanye. And this is when he did the song The Wire. That was, he fell asleep behind the wheel coming back from the studio. I'll give you a better story. Tupac, California Lovin', they did the whole Mad Max shit. Dre had the patch over the eye, and they had all the Hummers going through the desert or whatever. All those Hummers came from my office. And the owner didn't want us to rent them the cars. We were the only ones that just came out, and he was on some, they're going to fuck him up. But I'm like, it's Dr. Dre. You know what I mean? Like, it's Dre and Pac. Like, you got to rent it to him. So I did it anyway, And the owner of the company, who we later on found out that he was my cousin through marriage, still fired me. Fuck him. Was like, if any of those Hummers come with a hair scratch, you're fired. No questions, no explanation, nothing. You're getting your check and you're gone. So, you know, for like 3 or 4 weeks, I'm sitting there going, please don't fuck these Hummers up. You know what I mean? Like, and they all came back, no damage, paid for them with a cashier's check. So basically, they paid for it in cash, so there was no problems. And I called up the owner, and I was like, so all the Hummers came back, there's no damage, they paid with a cashier's check for the full amount. What do I get since my job was on the line? And he was like, you got next week off, paid vacation. And nobody got paid vacations in the summertime. But I did. I was the only one. I was so happy. When I first picked up Dilla from the airport, and I put, you know, we smoked a blunt, and when I asked him if he liked the SUV we were in, he was like, yeah, man, this shit is hot, you know? And I'm like, well, good. I'm glad you like it. It's yours. And he was like, it's mine. And the look on his face, I don't know if it was because he was faded, but like he really thought the truck was stolen. Like he started wiping his fingerprints off the door handle and shit, off the, you know, the dashboard, off the stereo and shit. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? He's like, man, this shit ain't mine. And I'm like, yo, you're mad bugging, yo. Like, it's a rental, man. Like, it was rented for you. And he was like, man, you scared the fuck out of me, man. I thought it was on some G-Ride shit. I'm like, no, man, what are you crazy? I'm going to go to the airport and G-Ride? What all the cops say? He was like, I don't know, man. This is L.A., man. I don't know. Fucking Dilla. I miss Dilla. Like, rest in peace, brother. A dude that I know, I can't really say he's my boy because, like, we don't kick it or anything. We just know each other through the hip-hop scene, DJ Ice. I got mad love for him. I got mad respect for him. He actually came up to me and was like, so Dave, when we gonna put out the Dave New York album? And I was like, Dave New York album? I was like, I don't spit, fool. And he was like, you don't need to spit. And I was like, well, I don't produce either. So he's like, you don't need to produce either. I said, fuck, I look like Pootie Tang? We're gonna have an album of silence? And he started laughing, and he was like, no, man, your name carries weight in this game. People know who you are, plus all the artists you work with. Like, we can do something real big. And then I was talking with Bishop Lamont and Talib Kweli about it, and Kweli was like, yo, that's a great idea. And I was talking to Bishop about it, and he was like, yo, let's do it. And at the end of the day, I would rather put food on my brother's table than a stranger's table. You know what I mean? And I'll give DJ Ice all the credit because it was his idea. It really was. But at the end of the day, I would rather feed my brother and my niece than a dude that I just know. You know what I mean? And it's going to be a compilation, obviously, because I don't spit. I'm narrating. The first single's actually out. It's featuring Charlie Tuna, rapper Big Pooh, and Bishop Lamont. And it's produced by Astronaut. If y'all not familiar with Astronaut, get familiar. He's ridiculous. He's out of Paris, but he is ridiculous. And the beat is monster. The track came out so stupid. It's called Music's All I Got. And it's basically, you know, explaining to everybody, like, the love that I have for music. Because I would rather listen to music than watch TV. You know what I mean? Like, there's just something about music that just eases the mind, and it calms the savage beast. So, Talib Kweli is going to be on it. Black Thought's going to be on it. I'm just going to leave it at that. Like, we got some hidden gems for you. And, the album's going to be called I've Got a Story to Tell, and it's basically telling my story. And it's going to be like if you, from New York to L.A., like, it's going to have MCs from through all the states. People always say, man, you so lucky. Luck ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm blessed. And I learned this from Dilla, Black Thought, Questlove, Kweli, Kareem Riggins, and Common. When you stay positive, positive shit happens. No matter how bad shit gets and you stay positive, positivity is going to overrun the negativity. And I learned that from them, and I stay positive about everything. And, you know, this person may do me dirty on a rental, but these 10 are going to do me justice. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather have the 10 and lose that one. You know what I mean? And it's been a blessing since 95, and here we are in 14. And I still count my blessings every day. It's your man, Dave New York, once again, shouting out. NortheastHipHop.com. Don't fuck with anybody else. Just fuck with these cats. Church. I'll die a b-boy. I mean, at my age, I still dress like a b-boy. I'm a b-boy to my last breath. I'm a hip hop head. It's me. You know what I'm saying? Like